Good evening. In this video, I'm going to run through all of the most interesting apps, games, and experiences that I have found in my week and a half or so with the Vision Pro. So if you can't afford it or if it isn't available in your country yet, you can live vicariously through me as I show you all of the most interesting stuff that I have found. I'm once again in my unusually large living room. It looks kind of normal from this angle, but from here you can see I just have a big empty void. I've never really known how to fill that space, but since I got the Vision Pro, it's been a pretty good area to try out AR apps, and so this is where I'm going to be demoing all these things today. Launch the apps here, and we'll start with what I think is one of the most interesting uses of AR, What the Golf. This creates what's called a volume, so I still have a window grabber there that I can pinch and bring up close to me. But this isn't, a rectangular window-shaped window. It's a 3D object that I can interact with. And if you're familiar with the game, What the Golf, it works pretty similar. You pinch, pull back, and there you go. I'll replay a few levels just to show you what it's all about. So as you can see, this isn't your standard issue golfing game. It's sort of a silly take on it. There, clubs. I've played this on the iPhone, on the Apple TV, and they've taken the graphics from the game and made them like real 3D objects, which is just crazy. The gesture detection isn't as perfect as, playing it on an iPhone. This is not a precision gaming experience, but it is a brand new gaming experience, just like playing the Nintendo Wii. So that's enough of that. Let's move on to another game that I've tried, Super Fruit Ninja. So, you're all familiar with the game Fruit Ninja. Super Fruit Ninja has similarly been totally reimagined. So as you can see, it's placing objects in my environment. There's a weird old man standing in front of the camera and a pig that's sort of just wandering around. And we slice with our whole hand to begin. Portal opens up. We've got all of these different game modes. I'm going to play Zen because it's the one that's directly in front of me. Whoop, 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 whoop. That wasn't very good. The hand detection isn't perfect, which can kind of be a deal breaker for a game like this, but it is an Apple Arcade. It's, free to play with an Apple Arcade subscription. What a thrilling time to be alive. Oh! Pig. Hello. Here's another really cool use of AR that I've found. This is Game Room. Places this 3D table floating in my environment with a stack of board games here. We're just gonna start a round of hearts. And again, these cards are all in full 3D. It's really crazy how this looks. I just tap and look with my eyes to move these things around. So with any of these apps, I can dial in Apple's built-in fake 3D environment. Now I'm not in my living room, I'm in Mount Hood. And you can really see how the lighting changes. It adapts to the environment. It becomes much more blue and much more bright than I'm back in my dingy living room. But this game also has its own environment. Suddenly I'm in this imaginary library. I can see all of these books around me and other board games. A chessboard over there. I'm not really sure what kind of game leads to only those black pieces being on the board. But if I look around, I can still see areas of my environment, like the table next to me, there's the wall, I can see the rug on the real floor, but I can play the game in this more immersive space, if I prefer. So I'm definitely going to pick this game up later, but for now, I'm going to go back to the home screen. Here's another game. I actually haven't played it yet, but it looks pretty interesting, called Void X. This is sort of a vintage bullet dodging game. It places all these 3D elements in your real space, in addition to having a little window here. Kind of a Galaga style shooting game here. Avoid those bullets. Still gotta place some shots, I presume. Oh, there's a heart. Eat that. It looks like I'm getting kind of low on those. These 3D pixel effects are really cool. Those bursts are like fireworks in my space here. So that is Void X, a fun little arcade game. I'm definitely going to be playing that again. Now let's play a more immersive game Jetpack Joyride 2. This is another remake of a classic iOS game, and this puts me in a really immersive environment. So I'm gonna start with the game here. The kind of iPhone games where the whole screen is just one simple button where you just tap the screen to interact translates very well, because instead of tapping the screen, you're just pinching your fingers. I don't entirely understand what's happening here, but that's roughly how it works. And I'm not plagued with looking at the world around me. I'm in this fake laboratory that's in the style of the game. Neat thing about this environment, though, is that you can just kind of look and tap around at a bunch of stuff. There's a little Newton's cradle over there. Oh, sorry, guy. A little TV you can turn on and off. Punching bag. Oh, some snacks in the fridge. A little thing up there. Oh, we can do that and tap those things. Pour some water. Gotta stay hydrated. $3,499 for this experience, just keep that in mind. So let's move on to some other experiences. If you're a space nerd like me, this one is really cool. It places the Mars Perseverance rover in your living room, and you can scale it up. I'm gonna dial it all the way up to full size, and this thing is just room-fillingly huge. It's so cool. And I know for you at home, it's not the same watching me do this or watching it through a 2D screen, but like, if you can, stand up, hold your arm out in front of you, and like I have to look up. That's how big this thing is. And I can just walk all the way around it, probably going off screen. But this is just so cool. Here's another interactive AR experience called Jigspace. This places interactive 3D models in your real environment. So, you know, the neat one is, of course, a jet turbine. Tap to place it here. You can throw pieces off of it. I can walk through the interactive ones, and at each stage I can just take pieces off, throw them away, take off this piece, spin it around. Look at this little nose cone guy. Hypnotize yourself with it. I mean, look at that. That looks like a real piece of spinning metal. Throw a Formula One car in the middle of the room. Meh. 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 Get a close look at that steering wheel. That's cool. The screen is even reflective. And I can annotate this as well. Draw in 3D on it if I just wanna. So I can just graffiti on the car here. What's that? Question mark. This app is almost worth it just for that. You can use this for training, assembly of stuff, demos, marketing. Another one here for the space nerds, Space Vision. And right away it's throwing me into a model of the solar system. This isn't really to scale, the Earth isn't nearly that big, especially compared to the sun. And you can see the moon is touching the Earth. That would be a pretty big problem if that was actually the case. But we see all the orbits here. All the planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and whoa, way out there is Jupiter. Can I stand on the couch? I mean, look at that. That's cool. So we'll turn off scaling objects, turn off scaling orbits, and now you can see there's the sun. That's how far away Mercury is, and it's just a dot. Like, space is fucking big, man. Now, if we want to fill this empty void here, we can try Lowe's Style Studio. I've always wanted a second kitchen directly around the corner from my first one. So we'll explore this collection. You can customize everything in this kitchen. Change these chairs around. Yes. Plants. Apples. Not green apples, though. Those are horrible. Definitely New York subway ceramic. Slab. Gotta love a good slab. Want this guy to match my slab. I can save this to my board. Well, I've shown you a lot of games. How about an app to track your games? It's called Game Track, very fittingly. In my library, I can organize them into a wish list, queued games, games I've already completed, I can organize them by platform. I can look at what's popular, what other people are playing. Counter-Strike 2, I've heard of that one. So that's Game Track. It, of course, wouldn't be a new Apple platform without pCalc by James Thompson. And this is an app that I really like to just bring close to me and just punch at in the air. You know, throw numbers around. 45 times me. There we go. Did you know that? Probably not. A few other productivity apps. Subjects. If you're a student in a dorm, I don't know what kind of student will be able to afford an Apple Vision Pro, but I can bring up a schedule here. This is a pre-populated one. Each of these I can tap and it's like, you know, a little calendar. It can populate my actual iCloud calendar if I want it to. I can look at my homework as well. That is clearly not my actual GPA. You know, it's really easy to add a subject as well. CS 4560. That's green to me. I can add a timetable, location, add it in right there. Now it's on my timetable. Apple has some productivity apps as well. I'm going to show you Keynote. Just grab your keyboard if you want to start some work. This is a presentation I've been working on, how to become a cult leader. As you can see, 108 more slides to add before it's really finished, but I'll show you what it's like adding another one here. Add another one of these slides. Double tap to edit. I'm going to call it Build an Elaborate Mansion. So I'm just going to go to Safari here, bring up some stock photos of a mansion. What looks sufficiently cult leader billionaire? I like the looks of that castle. The Vision Pro has a full file browser, so I can download attachments and open them up here, and there we go. And this has a lot of the full features of the real Keynote app. I have all the formatting options for styling, editing the image. I can add tables, graphs. I can animate things. I can duplicate them. I have cut, copy, paste, undo, and redo. But here's the real killer feature, because I can rehearse this as well in a conference room or a theater setting. And this is what I would see if I were giving my presentation. You know, I'm on a stage. I've got the slideshow on a projector behind me. I can see my current slide and my next slide, a giant sprawling audience, and just like real life, nobody is attending. I've got a little timer there. Tap to go forwards, tap to go back, end to show. So I can switch to this conference room environment, very similar. You know, I've got a little room around me, big windows, screen behind me. And I can confirm from going to WWDC, this is pretty much what Apple conference rooms look like. So that's a general run through of all the neatest stuff you can try on a Vision Pro. I'm D. Griffin Jones with Cult of Mac.